Hey, what's up guys, it's Mookie Lord here, and today we're going to talk about Final Fantasy. Yes, that's right, Final Fantasy once again, more specifically Final Fantasy 9, because yes, rumors have sparked up once again, but now it's starting to come up much more rapidly and strongly in regards of a potential Final Fantasy 9 remake. Yes, Final Fantasy 9 remake. So to some of you guys who are new here, this may be new information for you guys who knew nothing about this, but yes, it's been talked about and it's been popping up over the internet since 2022 up until now about a potential remake. So yes, more details has appeared and I want to give my thoughts on it, and I also have some questions about how they will approach this remake. Since we do see what Square Enix has done with Final Fantasy VII Remake, will they do the same thing or take this the same approach moving with Final Fantasy 9? So before I even dive into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. Now, when it comes to Final Fantasy here on this channel, I know a lot of you guys, especially my audience, really don't give a shit about Final Fantasy, anything when I talk about that series in general, whatever like that. It doesn't really get much clicks, but Final Fantasy 9 is close dear to my heart the same way, if not more, than Final Fantasy 7, because Final Fantasy 9 is one of those titles where I said in my stream one time, never judge a book by its cover, and Final Fantasy 9 had captured my heart. So now I'm really concerned about where Final Fantasy 9 remake is potentially going as far as development is concerned. So we're going to go to GameRant.com, where they have an article that's updating everybody about, you know, what's going on with the process as far as the development for Final Fantasy IX Remake. So we're going to dive right into it right now. Leaker claims Final Fantasy IX Remake is in development. Now, this said leaker has leaked it before, because if you guys don't know, Final Fantasy IX was among the leaks during the whole Nvidia Shield leak that happened about around 2022, which I covered here on this channel. It leaked Kingdom Hearts 4. It also leaked Final Fantasy Tactics, a remake or a remaster, and it also revealed a lot of other titles that ended up being true. More specifically, when it comes to Ogre Tactics Reborn, which people didn't think the Ogre Tactics would never return in some shape or form, and it was correct. Everything that was on that list was correct, and Final Fantasy IX Remake was also on that list. So now this leaker is coming in just to solidify that, say, hey, yes, it is a thing. So it says a trusted industry insider supported rumors claiming that a Final Fantasy IX remake is in development at Square Enix. Talks regarding a possible modern reimagining. Oh shit. Reimagine. I don't like that word. We talked about this before. Final Fantasy VII Remake is not really a remake. It's more of a reimagine than anything. But depending on the context, let's just go ahead. Final Fantasy IX have been circulating among the community for some time now, with various sources alluding to the project in the past few months. While developers have yet to deny or confirm any of the hearsay surrounding the speculated modern reimagining, another leaker has come forward to support the reports and claim the remake is only one of the many projects in Square Enix production pipeline. Now, we talked in previous videos about Square Enix right now. Their financial, I guess you would say, statements and everything is not doing too well. And they said they were going to cut a lot of HD projects and start choosing other projects much more sparingly. And many people were speculating and hoping that it doesn't mean that they would cut like Dragon Quest 3 remake and stuff like that, which I don't know why people would think that. I mean, Dragon Quest is a moneymaker and everything, but there are some people who thought that maybe Final Fantasy IX Remake would get the axe or whatever like that. But Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest are their breadwinners. I can't see them cutting those projects out unless it's one of those all like side off projects that just they know it won't really work out. But we're gonna move forward. Since its release in 2000, Final Fantasy IX has remained one of the most beloved entries in the franchise, retaining a sizable following even over 2 decades after its initial launch on the original PlayStation. It is widely regarded as a classic of the generation, and its many fans have hoped Square Enix's recent interest in the modernization of its most acclaimed titles, such as Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy, might eventually lead to the release of a faithful remake of Final Fantasy IX. Yes, the word faithful is very important in this context. People want a faithful remake. We don't want no bastardized, reimagined, you know, milk making, you know, remake, which was Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. I know my thoughts on the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You can definitely check out that 1-hour video as well. But when it comes to Final Fantasy IX, and I ask and I hope for this, that it stay faithful to the source. And we also want to talk about how they can approach this differently from Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy as well. Square Enix producer Naoki Yoshida has fueled speculation of an impending announcement of modern reimagining when implied there was a reason Final Fantasy XIV's upcoming Dawn Trail expansion heavily referenced Final Fantasy IX. So it's also interesting that they're using Final Fantasy XIV, if true, as a marketing tool, because Final Fantasy XIV, which people theorize that Final Fantasy XIV is in the center of the Final Fantasy universe, since it pulls so many different aspects from all the Final Fantasy games into one game. And the fact is that they can use it as a marketing tool to get people hyped, get people excited, and people who don't know nothing about it, since Final Fantasy XIV has a huge player base. I think that's pretty fun, and I think it's pretty unique and a smart way to go about it as well. Though Square Enix has yet to officially announce Final Fantasy IX Remake, notable leaker Midori's sources claim the project was already in the works. When asked whether Square Enix had a notable remakes in production line, Midori specifically claimed an upcoming modern reimagining for Final Fantasy IX was in the works. Though they did not clarify whether the remake was only in pre-production or full development was already underway. And I don't like that word pre-production. No, not pre-production. I really don't like that word modern reimagining, because it can mean so many things and I'm scared. So we have the tweet right here. But is the Final Fantasy IX remake real then? And then the person replies with the tweet in Twitter, this is correct information. Not much has been confirmed regarding Final Fantasy IX project. However, this was also not the first time news of this remake had reached the public. A previous report, Silk Knight on Twitter claimed developers were aiming for a Final Fantasy IX remake was faithful to the original. Thank God. That's what I'm hearing as well from our previous video. And that project retained a modest budget in comparison to other Square Enix titles. So what it sounds like here as well is that they're sticking faithful to it, and plus with a modest budget, meaning that it's not going to be on some Final Fantasy VII remake level, which is fine. I always talked about this. They don't have to get to this, make this super expensive budget to where now you can't have a reasonable development schedule and time or whatever like that. And that was the thing that really cursed Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy moving forward. You take one game and you split it into 3, which like I talked about before, you can go check that out. Final Fantasy IX, if they have a reasonable budget, they can get this done in one game. They don't have to split it into multiple parts, and they said it's faithful. So I'm all for that. It's all about the aesthetics, and it's all about the art style. Give us an art style that really expresses the world of Final Fantasy IX, and fans will buy it. Fans will buy it. They don't need this over-the-top graphics and everything. And I think if they stick to that, I think they can make a shit ton of money off of this as well. And it says, Silk Knight additionally reported that the remake was initially slated for a release on the Nintendo Switch, but was later scaled up to fit highly anticipated successor consoles. So, yes, so Switch 2 is around the corner, or whatever the next Nintendo console is going to be around the corner. So it makes sense that they'll put that on to the next console. And also, you know, the Switch is pretty much will hold the development back in a sense. You know, so if they're going to make it for the next console, it just makes sense or whatever to move forward. While it's not the most iconic entry in the franchise, Final Fantasy IX is still regarded a classic title. Yes, and I agree with that. With legions of fans at every beck and call. However, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth poor sales have shown a successful remake requires more than an established fan base, and it remains to be seen if the speculated reimagining can breathe new life into a classic RPG. Yes, its poor sales also has a lot to do with a lot of fans walking away from it. Like Final Fantasy Remake saw a surge, but then it fell off the cliff much later. It didn't even have any legs. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth struggled to get the same amount of sales, beginning sales, that Final Fantasy VII Remake made in such a short period of time. It took a couple weeks just to gain that, and the sales just flew off a cliff. So name recognition alone in the characters that we love is it's not enough to sell it. People want a faithful remake with some additions to expand what's already there. Just stay faithful and guarantee you that it will make a lot of money. And Final Fantasy IX is a perfect way to prove that. This is a chance for them to prove that, yo, Final Fantasy IX, and that fans want faithful to the source remake that follows it, and it would knock out this whole argument that, you know, it wouldn't sell well if it's just one-to-one. It would be boring. No one wouldn't want to play it. No, it would destroy that if they come out and just stick to the source material and people go out and support it, because I damn sure will. So if it stays faithful, you definitely gonna see me here talking about on the channel and actually playing it, and even go through some of the emotional parts of Final Fantasy IX that I loved about it, because it was one of those games that essentially just, I judged it based on the character designs and everything. But once I actually played the game when it launched, man, I fell in love with it, and it introduced me to a whole nother like aspect of Final Fantasy, as far as its world building, and even down to like, yo, Square Enix can take any type of character designs, and no matter how weird and wacky they look, like something from Never Ending Story, and still be able to produce or create some of the most memorable experiences that I've ever played in a Final Fantasy game. And plus, it was my first introductions to the crystals and everything as well. So I loved every bit of it, and hopefully this will be a way to introduce more fans into Final Fantasy IX. But that's pretty much my thoughts on this. I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about a Final Fantasy IX remake and its potential that it could have on its audience and new gamers who are now getting into JRPGs, more specifically the Final Fantasy franchise? Definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is Mugen Lord, signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.